Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video. I'm JP and this is Good Talk HQ. Today we'll take a look at some of the best games that you can get right now on the eShop at a great price. And then as always, we'll recap with some games that are still on sale from the previous weeks. If you've been here before, welcome back and thank you as always. Much love to you all. And if this is your first time here, welcome and thanks for stopping by. If you have a good time and you're looking for Nintendo content every week, we'd love to have you join our family as well. We have an amazing group of game enthusiasts and deal seekers that'll gladly show you around the headquarters. Either way though, please stay safe out there and enjoy the video. Alright, let's start off today's list with Danmaku Unlimited 3. This is a single-player vertical shoot-'em-up from Dorgon Entertainment, offering a main story that will last roughly 4 or 5 hours to wrap up. Now this is an all-out Bulletstorm style game which sees players taken to the skies to defend humanity against overwhelming odds. The game is action-packed with some of the most amazing visuals in any shooter. The boss battles are epic and the game even features multiple difficulty levels and game modes for gamers of all ages and experience. This is truly an amazing game and it's a great value right now, so if you're interested, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on September 14th. It's marked down 50% to just $4.99. A great value for an excellent shooter here on our favorite console. Alwa's Awakening is a single-player 2D retro platformer that can take more than 10 hours to complete depending on how many secrets you want to uncover. This is an ultra-challenging platformer where you'll face off against your enemies and solve puzzles with your trusty magical staff. Along the way, there are numerous upgrades you can find in this large interconnected world that features a catchy 8-bit soundtrack made just for the game. Now these games can be notoriously unforgiving and don't tend to hold your hand, often leaving you to find the next clue on your own. But one really cool feature they added to this one is the assist mode, which will add important icons on the map and give you instant respawns, all for less experienced gamers. If you're interested in this one, you'll be able to pick it up until September 21st. It's marked down half price to just $4.99. Next we have S.N.I.P.E.R Hunter Scope Deluxe. This is a single-player arcade-style FPS from Baltoro Games with a main story that should last roughly 5 or 10 hours. However, the game does have plenty of replayability, so you'll probably spend at least double before putting it down. Now this game blends both on-rail shooting with modern cover-based shooting sections for a unique and really enjoyable game. There are unlockables and upgrades to find, more than 15 stages to explore, and more than 30 weapon choices to choose from. And there are even special achievements for folks that like that sort of thing. Now the deluxe edition also includes the zombie apocalypse mode, as well as some new weapons, making this a great value at its current sale price. If you're interested in this one, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on September 13th. It's marked down 88% to an all-time low of just $1.99. The Mooseman is a single-player puzzle adventure game from publisher Sometimes You and will take roughly 2 or 3 hours to complete. This is one of those games that's more of an experience than a game, so to speak. The story is heavily tied to ancient Russian myths, and the art style and environments are one of a kind. The soundtrack is full of folk music and choir singing and adds so much to the immersion throughout the entire game. We play as the Mooseman, who's a shamanistic protagonist with the ability to switch between the world of the light and dark. This mechanic was really cool and used throughout the entire game to solve the puzzles that you'll encounter. Now this again is a very unique game and extremely narrative driven. But if you're interested, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on September 13th. It's marked down to just $3.49, which is half price. Goblin Sword. This is a single-player retro-inspired platformer from Gelato Games with a story that will take players roughly 10 or 12 hours to wrap up. In Goblin Sword, an army of monsters led by an evil wizard have begun to overrun your hometown. Players will explore more than 80 levels, face off with more than 10 epic boss battles, and the game is loaded with secrets and relics to be found, which will allow the player to upgrade their abilities and skills. There's even a cool souvenir mechanic which will allow players to decorate their home with items they find along their journey. If you're looking for a fun retro platformer, make sure to grab this one up before September 16th. It's marked down 60% to an all-time low of just $1.99. Next we have My Big Sister. This is a single-player adventure-style RPG from Metallica Games and offers players roughly 3 hours of main story gameplay. In this one, we'll play as 2 young sisters whom have been kidnapped and we must find our way home. The game is shown from a top-down view and sees players solving puzzles and searching for items needed to progress through the story. The game has plenty of secrets to find and even offers multiple endings based on the decisions that you'll make throughout the game. This is always a nice feature when you have these shorter games, as it gives you a reason to go back and play them a couple times in order to see them all. I do have to mention that this game has definitely got some mature themes and subject matter, so parents out there, please keep that in mind before making your decision. If interested though, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on September 22nd. It's marked down 55% to an all-time low of just $2.69. Blood Will Be Spilled is a single-player 2D strategy adventure game that will take roughly 5 to 6 hours to complete. In this one, we assume the role of Jack, who's a bounty hunter that happens to also be a mosquito, and we're on a path for revenge. This is an epic adventure with enough guns and melee weapons to keep even the most hardcore gamers out there satisfied. The voice acting though was a particular highlight for us. It was top notch. This is another game like Fury Unleashed that looks like a comic book that's coming to life on the screen. Only this time it's more focused on calculated movement and strategic planning rather than just running and gunning. If you're interested in Blood Will Be Spilled, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on September 22nd. It's marked down 80% to just $2.99. Alright, next we have Crypt of the Necrodancer, the Nintendo Switch edition. Now this is a rhythm-based dungeon crawler for 1 or 2 players in local co-op from Brace Yourself Games with a main story that will last more than 20 hours. This is one of my favorite games and one of the toughest ones I've played in a long time, but you'll have to move through these dungeons and attack on rhythm with the beat that's playing in the background. It sounds a bit odd at first, but the game is fantastic, and of course, in a game like this it all comes down to the soundtrack, which is amazing. My absolute favorite part of the game though is the shopkeeper. The way that he just breaks out in the song gets me every time. The co-op mode is just an extra bonus, making this an even better value. If you haven't played this one, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on September 14th. It's marked down 80% to an all-time low of just $3.99. The Aquatic Adventure of the Last Human. This is an underwater single-player title from publisher Digerati, offering a main campaign that will last players roughly 5 hours or so. Now this one is classified as a Metroidvania, but only in the most minor of ways. Some areas are progression gated, but to me it felt more like a boss rush type of game personally. You spend a lot of time exploring somewhat empty areas while avoiding environmental hazards until you get to the next boss. Now the bosses are amazing, and they can be a bit challenging by the end of the game, but they never felt unfair. Now this game looks and runs great on the Switch, but the music was a particular highlight. If you're interested in this one, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on September 9th. It's marked down 70% to just $3.89. Alright, next we have the Vasara Collection, which is a collection of 2 vertical shoot-'em-up games from Cubite Interactive, and both are available for 1 or 4 players and local co-op. These games offer hours of arcade-style fun, and both have always been highly acclaimed and are fan favorites whenever they go on sale. They even include the new game mode, which is what allows that 4-player co-op support. The story itself takes place in an alternate timeline where Japan has technology that has far surpassed anything we've seen yet. Now this one is a highly skill-based game, but it does offer an easy mode for beginners, and the story has branching paths with alternative endings based on your choices, so you feel more involved in the outcome. If you're looking for a great arcade-style shooter, make sure to check out the Vasara Collection, while on sale until September 17th, marked down 80% to just $1.99. Alright, next we have Blossom Tales. This is a single-player top-down adventure from FDG Entertainment with a main story that will last players roughly 9 or 10 hours. Now this one takes heavy inspiration from the earlier Zelda titles, and they have no problem showing it. In fact, the game starts off with 2 young children being told the story of Link and Zelda when they decide they want to hear something new, and that's when our story begins. The story itself centers around a young protagonist named Blossom, who sets out on an adventure to find some ingredients for a potion needed to save her father. This is a huge open world with plenty of cool enemies to see, an amazing story, and upgrades and unlockables everywhere. If you played the older Zelda titles, you'll feel right at home with this one, I promise. If you're interested in Blossom Tales, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on September 17th. It's marked down 75% to an all-time low of just $3.74. Slayin 2 is an arcade-style action RPG, again from publisher FDG Entertainment, available for 1 or 2 players offline, and offers a main story that will last roughly 12 hours or so. In Slayin 2, players will face off against hordes of enemies while trying to string together as many kills as they can. In the sequel, they've added the new mechanics, and there's now a new foreground and background that you can jump between, similar to something like Rayman Legends. The sequel also includes the drop-in couch co-op, which again is always a welcome addition for us at the channel. There are 8 playable characters, each with unique moves and skill sets, multiple difficulty modes, and multiple actual game modes to give plenty of value to this chaotic RPG. The soundtrack as well is top-notch. If you like the first Slayin or you think this looks good, make sure to check it out before September 23rd, marked down 75% to just $2.99, which is again an all-time low. Next we have Savage Halloween. This is an old school NES style platformer from Cubite Interactive and is available for 1 or 2 players in local co-op and offers a story that will last roughly 5 or 6 hours. Now this one is pretty tough, so mileage will probably vary a little bit player to player. But the game is a blast to play, has great controls, amazing sound, and top-notch graphics as well. With this one you get 3 playable characters, some cosmetic variations, 8-way directional shooting, boss battles, level variation, and so much more. Plus it's all Halloween themed, and that's right around the corner. On top of all of that, the story was actually pretty funny as well. Please make sure to give this one a look before the sale ends on September 17th. It's marked down 60% to just $1.99, which is an all-time low. BQM, or Block Quest Maker, is a single-player creation-style game in the RPG genre. The game comes to us from Wonderland Kazakiri and offers unlimited hours of gameplay. Now this one allows us to create and play our own RPGs and even then share them online for others to explore as well. You'll be able to create traps, mazes, puzzles, and even include things like secret doors and more. Now of course, coming into a game like this, the main concern will usually be how difficult it is to create these dungeons, but thankfully BQM has done a great job trying to alleviate that concern by making the entire process easy with simple construct and connect controls. Basically it's like playing with digital blocks or Legos. Like with other games in this style though, if you aren't particularly into building, you can also just grab the game up to play what others have already created, or even just make your way through the various dungeons that are pre-packaged with the game. So if you're interested in this one, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on September 17th. It's marked down 67% to just $4.99. The robot named Fight. This is an action platformer for 1 or 2 players offline from Morningstar Game Studio and offers players roughly 9 to 10 hours of main story gameplay. Now the story follows a lone robot tasked with stopping an evil mega beast from invading, and it features a procedurally generated world which is ever changing and there are millions of map layouts. It also features some amazing retro graphics and sound, plus there's loads of secrets and unlockables to find, and the controls felt great. If you're interested, make sure to check out A Robot Named Fight before the sale ends on September 9th. It's marked down 85% to just $1.99. Next we have Cecconoid. This is a single-player retro-style shoot-'em-up that will take players roughly 3 or 4 hours to finish up. This is an ultimate homage to retro arcade twin-stick shooters, featuring an 8-bit aesthetic and a bumping soundtrack, all wrapped up in a black and white presentation. Players will have to fight off evil robots and save the Equinox from destruction. But you also get a free bonus game with the purchase. It's called Yugatron, which itself offers another 50 plus levels, plus power-ups, multiple control schemes, all that good stuff. This is a great value, currently on sale for $1.99. It's marked down 90% until September 13 at an all-time low. Smoke and Sacrifice. This is a single-player narrative-driven RPG from Curve Digital with the main story that will last roughly 15 to 20 hours to finish up. In this one, players will have to craft, fight, survive, and explore this huge open world in this beautifully hand-painted adventure with some unique characters, all of whom have a story to tell. The story itself follows a young mother who has to sacrifice her firstborn child, and sees us setting out on an adventure to uncover the dark secrets of what has actually happened to her son. The game features beautiful graphics and an outstanding soundtrack. The story is engaging and the controls are straightforward. If you're interested in Smoke and Sacrifice, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on September 9th. It's marked down 75% to an all-time low of just $4.99. Earth Atlantis. This is a single-player shoot-'em-up from Head Up Games and will take roughly 3 or 4 hours to complete. In Earth Atlantis, most of the Earth itself is flooded and is underwater, and the machines have risen to power over the humans. We play as a hunter on a mission to clear the seas of these hybrid marine machines. Now again, this is a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, but it's all about monster hunting and features a unique graphical style. They call it old sketching, but basically everything just looks like it was drawn with a pencil, and it's beautiful on the Switch. The music is calming and relaxing, and overall this is a great time. If you're interested in Earth Atlantis, make sure to check it out. Again, before the sale ends on September 13th, it's marked down 87% to an all-time low of $1.99. Next we have Wandersong. This is a single-player 2D platformer with a heavy emphasis on music. This one comes to us from Humble Games and offers a main campaign that will last roughly 9 or 10 hours. As I was saying, the game has a heavy emphasis on music and singing. You play as this goofy young bard and you use music to interact with things along your journey. The game features an impressive cast of characters that you'll meet along the way with some pretty neat little puzzles to solve and some of the most colorful graphics on any game that I've seen on the console. The story was very emotional and surprisingly good. Make sure to check this one out before the sale ends on September 10th. It's marked down 75% to an all-time low of just $4.99. Pew. This is a single-player 2D puzzle platformer from Curve Digital with a main story that will last 4 to 6 hours. In Hue, players explore a gray land in an attempt to find color fragments as you seek to locate your missing mom. The unique feature here is that you can alter the color of the background, and any obstacle or object that matches that color will disappear. This will allow you to clear different paths and progress further. The world in Hue is alive with characters and they're interesting, and each one has a unique story to tell. The developers even included a colorblind mode to make the game accessible for more players. This really is a good game and it's a great value when it's on sale, so if you're interested in picking this one up, make sure to do so before September 9th. It's marked down 80% to an all-time low, just $1.99. The Flame in the Flood is a single-player adventure with a pixel art aesthetic and a transformative soundtrack. Published by Curve Digital, this game offers a main story that will last roughly 15 hours, even more for completionists. You'll travel both on foot and by raft as a young girl with her canine pal down a procedurally generated river. Players will need to gather materials, craft tools, and keep themselves in good health in the harsh wilderness. You'll also have to learn to deal with the wildlife as well, as not all animals you'll come across will be friendly. The Switch version features all of the enhancements that were made over time, and the game is definitely worth checking out. If you're interested in Flame in the Flood Complete Edition, make sure to do so before the sale ends on September 9th. It's marked down 75% to an all-time low of just $374. Alright, next we have one of our favorites, Strikey Sisters. This is a brick breaker style game with a fantasy theme for 1 to 2 players in local co-op, and the main story is quite substantial, all things considered, clocking in around 4 to 6 hours and even more for completionists. This game is amazing, and while it's just a brick breaker game at heart, it's cleverly disguised behind a wonderful, charming, and engaging story with amazing pixel art graphics and even some cutscenes. There are multiple difficulty levels, boss battles, power-ups, and collectibles, and the game has so much replayability it's a no-brainer for under $3. If you're interested in Strikey Sisters, make sure to check it out again before the sale ends on September 16th. It's marked down 70% to an all-time low of just $2.99. Alright everyone, that's going to go ahead and wrap up today's episode. We truly appreciate you giving us a few minutes of your day, and we hope you enjoyed the video. If this was your first time here, please consider joining our extended family. We have a great community, they're very active, and they're all gamers. Not only that, but it will enter you into our eShop gift card giveaways that we do. All you have to do to enter is be sub to the channel, drop a like on the video, and leave me a comment on any of the eShop sales videos throughout the week so I can find you and put you on the current list. Either way though, we hope you enjoyed the video. Please stay safe out there. We'll let Little Man take us on home as always. Bye everyone.
That's all for today's list. We hope you liked the video. If you did, consider subscribing and liking down below. Okay, bye!